Hey guys, what's up? It's Deprimido. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here in FL Studio and I'm going to be breaking down NARDO WICK type beats. NARDO WICK has been getting a lot more popular recently and he's got a very unique style of beats. Very dark, pretty ambient, and just overall they go pretty hard. But before we get into the video, please make sure you go over and follow me on Instagram. I'm getting pretty close to 2,000 followers, and when I reach that, I'm dropping a free MIDI kit that you can all get. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the beat. So starting off with the tempo, these beats are generally going to be a little bit faster. Generally they're in the range of about 150 to 170 BPM. I decided to go with 150. So for your melody, you're generally going to want to go with these ambient, kind of fast moving bells, like you would hear in Who Wants Smoke and stuff like that. But he's also got some songs that use like ethnic guitars, pads, pianos, strings. For these melodies, you pretty much just want to make it really dark. If you are going with that kind of bell sound like Who Wants Smoke, you're going to want to have them moving really fast, and you're going to want to have it be pretty ambient and washed out, so you can't tell exactly what's going on, but it just kind of creates a pad feel almost. Now you're not going to want to use bells that have a super strong attack. Like I said, you want it to be pretty ambient and kind of washed out. Another thing with these melodies is just make sure that they're super repetitive. As you can see, this melody definitely is. This is what it sounds like. Then I also decided to throw halftime on it. We changed it to 2 bars instead of 1 bar. We went to the 4x mode. We turned down the smooth knob quite a bit. And then I also turned the mix down to 50%. So with halftime, this is what it sounds like. So when you're making these melodies, a lot of people's first instinct is kind of just to click it in and go note by note. But instead, what I would recommend for this specific type of melody is to kind of build it in layers. So for me, I started off with this bottom layer right here, just one note repeating every couple of beats. Then I added in this layer, and finally I added this layer. I would also say you should have more movement in your top layers and keep your bottom layers pretty repetitive like I did here. Next, for your counter melodies, you can pretty much use all the same instruments. So pianos, pads, strings, all that type of stuff is good. And then you can also use bells again, but I would only recommend doing that if you used bells the first time as well. So for me, I did decide to use bells again. And we really did a pretty similar thing. It was basically just adding in another layer to that first melody. The sound that I used is a little bit different though. It has the same bass sound right here, but then I added in something with a little more attack. Then I also turned the attack all the way up. I didn't want this layer to be as ambient as the first one, but it definitely is still pretty ambient. And again, we did it pretty much in the same way. We've got our first layer down here, and then our second layer up here. This is what it sounds like. And obviously it's very repetitive again. After that, you don't really want to add too much to your melodies, especially if you're going with this fast-paced ambient bell type of melody. So the last part of the melody is I just went into expand into the ambient section, and I just found one that I liked and I just laid it out right here. And that's all we're really going to put into the melody. So next, moving on to the drums, I just added in a little snare. You can use a clap, trap, snare, rim, whatever you really want to use. Next, I added in this hi-hat pattern, and this is a very important part of the beat. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. We pretty much just started with a 2-step, and then we added in a bunch of rolls. This is pretty inspired by southside type hi-hats. But as you can see, we've got lots of very tight rolls. When you're making patterns like these, just be careful not to go too crazy. You want to make sure it fits the bounce of the rest of the beat, and you want to make sure that it's not really throwing anything off. So this is what it sounds like. Next, I added in the 808. Since our melody is so repetitive, it follows the same root note throughout the entire thing, and so we pretty much did the same thing with our 808, but as you can see, we do have a few notes just around here. That's just kind of to spice it up a little bit. For your 808 sound, you're going to want to use sounds that are not too long. You're going to want them either short or a little bit more medium, but you definitely don't want anything too long. And you want your 808 to be fairly clean. You might have a little bit of distortion, but nothing too crazy. The pattern, I would say, is going to be pretty standard, although you definitely aren't going to want to have too much space in between notes. As you can see, this is a pretty full 808 pattern. This is what it sounds like. And the last thing I did for the drums is just add in a kick. This mostly follows the 808 pattern, but we did just take out a few notes to give the rest of the notes some more emphasis. This is what it sounds like. Open hats are pretty common in these types of beats. If you do want to use one, it's going to be a standard pattern really. It's just going to be maybe a little bit more repetitive than usual. But yeah, this is all I added to the beat. As you can see, there's not too much going on. They're very simple beats. So next we just mixed it down. If you guys want to know how I mix my beats more in depth, I do have a video for that, which I will leave linked up in the card in the corner. But like I said, we've just got halftime on that main melody. Then we've got a little EQ on that ambience. It was pretty loud before and there was a lot going on, so I just cut out a lot of the lows and a little bit of the highs. Those are the only effects I used. Then I just panned that counter melody a little bit to the right, and then I leveled everything. And finally I laid out the beat. Very simple arrangement. I'll play it for you at the end of the video, but first I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, since we did just pass 500 subscribers, you can get my free 500 subscriber loop kit, which is linked in my beat stars. If you guys didn't check out the last video, I am going to be having some changes coming to the schedule on this channel. Instead of dropping 2 videos a week, I'm just going to be dropping 1 video, but I'm also going to be dropping a free loop kit every week. Up to now, I've dropped a free loop kit every time I've hit a certain number of subscribers, so for example 100, 200, etc. But now that I'm dropping a free loop kit every week, that doesn't really seem special enough. So I want to know what you guys want me to release when I reach certain subscriber checkpoints. So let me know. It could be free beats, MIDI kits, special videos. For example, I've been thinking about collabing with subscribers and doing a video about that, so I could do that when I reach the next subscriber checkpoint. I don't really know, so you guys let me know what you want and I will try to do that if I can. But yeah, that's about it for this video, so thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.
How did Deprimido make this slap so hard?